Hello, fellow enjoyers of the AFL. It's Matsa here with Deano. We've got something a little bit different today. This is going to be Deano's top 20 players.
We'll go top 20 with a few notable exclusions, but...
There we go. So the top 20 in the 2024 draft for AFL.
Yep.
All right.
Bit of context. So I love the draft. I follow it quite closely, especially being a North fan. Now, all the articles you read, there's some differences, but a lot of the same. And quite honestly, I don't agree with a lot of it. There's some key players you'll see in the top 10 there. Like some will be familiar, some won't be.
Yep.
I've got a few guys much higher than most, and I've got some a bit lower than most. But I'll justify it all. And I think if you're looking for something a bit different analysis of the draft, this is your place to be. Not going to be a copy-paste of everyone else.
Yeah, sweet.
But look, I guess it's a close draft. It's a very good draft. It's an exciting draft. So without further ado, my number one, which it just starts with a bang, Matsa, because I have a number one that I'm yet to see anyone else agree with. And my boy this year is none other than Murphy Reid.
There we go. Murphy Reid. Look, I kind of knew, so I can't fake the shock so much.
I've been banging on for weeks and weeks about this to Matsa. Murphy Reid, right? This kid, 180 centimetre midfielder, can have an impact up forward, but the glaringly obvious thing with this kid is that he is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most skillful player in the entire draft. I would even go as far as to say, count last year's draft, count most other drafts. I think this kid's just a special talent when it comes to IQ and disposing of the ball. And some of his handballs, like every game, he's flicking it over his head. No-look handballs, like while he's in the air, he's dishing it off. I just think, and especially watching finals, it's glaringly obvious to me that how much time do you have on the ball? You need to get rid of it quickly, accurately. You need to know where your teammates are. And this kid just oozes class, man. There's another YouTuber called Dylan Alexander. Great videos, by the way. Shout out.
Shout out, Dill.
He did a nice analysis saying like who's going to be the Sheasel of the draft. And this is my comp for Murphy Reid. He's a bit shorter. But in terms of the way this kid moves and disposes of the ball like that, he's just got this sort of class and he knows where everyone is on the field and can deliver it in exceptional ways. I think like that's the best comp I can give as well. So totally agree with Dylan on that one. Yeah,
well, there you go. And look, if you're picking up Sheasel at number one, right, obviously this is shades of Sheasel, we'll say, you know, player comp, shades of, you know.
I always, good to mention that. I always give like a, shades of best case scenario-esque player. But it's quite clear, like we have nothing to, like we know nothing about the mentality of these kids. Sheasel's an exceptional player and mentality monster. Yeah, 100%. Which is why he's developed so quickly and rapidly. I could be way up, like Murphy could be a lazy guy that's just going to fizzle out. Yeah, you don't know. Yeah. I'm just judging based on what I see, right? So
that's fair. That's fair. I guess when we get player interviews, it might, you know, might sort of change things up. But, you know, in saying that, how much information do we actually get? It's pretty limited.
Exactly.
But anyway, that's there we go. Starting with the bang with number one.
Yeah, and just to quickly finish up on that, like he's finished the year and Sandringham's make the grand final as of today. They won their game. So impact on the scoreboard, getting more touches, more midfield time. And in the championships as well for Metro, he was not the leading disposal getter because he had the likes of Jagger Smith and Co on his team, but impact class per possession, one of the best I've seen in my years of following the draft. So
there we go.
Special talent. I've seen some people give him shouts for top 3 at best. Yeah. He's mostly seen as like a 5 to 10. Some people even have him outside the 10, which I think is ludicrous. Yeah. So definitely, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but no one's mocking this guy number one that I've seen on the internet. So that's the kind of stuff you can expect in this video for sure. And I'm not just saying that for the hot take. I genuinely believe he's the best player.
Love it, Deano.
Number 2 gets a bit more what you'd expect. I've got Jagger Smith number 2. I remember we were talking about this earlier in the year and you sort of saw a few highlights. You're like, oh, he's too skinny. Yeah.
I was thinking, is he just another Will Phillips? Like, I don't know. Yeah. Which I know sounds harsh right now, you know, but both of us North supporters, you know, that's the fear.
Yeah. But to be fair to Jagger, he's just gotten better and better as the year's gone on. And he played VFL as well. Yeah. And still got the ball. And after that, I was like, okay, there's no way this guy's not a top 3 pick.
Yeah. And sorry to cut you off, but that's where when you're getting 30 disposals in the VFL and you're best on, you know, having those type of performances, that's where I kind of realized as well, I've got to give him some respect as well. Yeah.
And it's the way he gets the ball and moves with the ball. It reminds me a bit of Chad Warner. And he doesn't have that power because we know Chad can just shake off a tackle like anything. He doesn't have that yet. Yeah. But the low center of gravity, the speed, And then crucially, I've been really impressed with his disposal. Like, you'd think just he's a quick accumulator. That could equal Jai Simpkin, all right?
Okay.
Who's fast, he's agile, but he's got a shocking disposal most of the time.
Yeah.
I was thinking, oh no, is he going to be that?
Yeah.
But then you see him play and you're like, actually, no, this kid's got IQ. He's actually got skill. And that for me has said, if you can get the ball and be fast and potentially with a bit more size, have that Chad Warner-esque explosiveness with a good disposal, that's going to be one of the best mids in the league eventually, potentially.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think it's only fair to his production and like what you see with your eyes. You can't pick many kids over him.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I would understand if he goes number one in the draft, to be honest, to Richmond. He's got ties to Richmond, apparently, local. I think he lives in and grew up in Richmond.
Yeah.
So
Richmond VFL as well.
Richmond VFL. So, yeah, he's an exceptional talent. But there is a question mark on his size.
Yeah.
But the kid's 17, 18 years old, so I'm not going to hang him for that.
Fair enough.
I think I think you'll be just fine, to be honest with you.
So is the shades of...
I'll go Warner.
Chad
Warner. I'll go Chad Warner.
There we go. That's...
Unless you can think off the top of your head another like smaller, really quick player, like a Butters maybe.
Yeah, Butters, yeah. So shades of Warner / Butters. Yeah. I think that's kind of what you want at the pointy end of the draft. So anyway, there we go.
My number 3, I've got Levi Ashcroft here, finally. Now, I know guys like Cal Toomey, who you know I love.
Yes.
Respect the man. He's had him number 1. I think, honestly, it's because Cal's got no idea this year. Not his takes
bang,
are bad.
bang.
Yeah, no, not that his takes are bad. I mean that like he doesn't have intel on who's going 1. That's what I mean.
And that's the thing. I feel like he does base his phantom form guide a little bit on who he thinks he's going up there.
Yep. This is around the time, like teams like Richmond and North have been out of the finals for weeks now. He generally knows by now the top couple picks because, again, these teams have been out of finals. He's got no idea this year.
Yeah.
And I credit that to the quality of the draft and the teams are keeping the cards close to their chest.
And that I like that.
Now, in saying that, there's no way Richmond's bidding on him 1. And knowing North's history, I can't see us bidding on him at 2 either.
We bid it on his brother. So we
maybe.
We did him 2 and then Sheasel Wardlaw.
Yeah, all right.
So it probably, look, if we like him.
We might,
yeah. And I think we would like him.
would, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we won't bid, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I do think he's a top 3 player in the draft. The shades of is going to be very boring. I'm just going to go for his brother.
Fair enough.
They are a bit different.
Yeah.
That's a lazy comparison, but all you need to know about this kid, he's tough, good disposal, ultra consistent, gets the ball, kicks goals.
Yeah. I think with what we've seen from his brother in the finals, that's impact pretty early on. If he's shades off Will.
Correct. And you look at like the Dacos brothers' impact.
Yeah.
I think there's a bigger drop off between Nick and Josh, even though Josh is a great player.
Yeah.
I think Levi and Will can be like one and the same copy paste output and class, which is a bit unfair, but credit to Mr. Ashcroft.
Yeah, no,
he's got a few nice boys there.
Yeah, that's it. It is a little bit boring, but like if that's the case, man, Brisbane, man.
And I did have Levi further down a few weeks ago, and you sort of called me up on it. You said, man, are you sure about this? Because you were seeing his stats.
Yeah, I was looking at the thing is, when you look at stats and you look at scoreboard impact, like I kind of had to go, look, Deano, I know you want to do these draft videos, but like I don't want you to I want you to have a little bit of validity.
What it was for me was he didn't blow me away at the championships where the best of the best play each other. But more than that, I was sort of thinking for a while, like, is this kid just an accumulator and he's just dominating this level?
Yep. But
then the more the years gone on, you've seen like he's just an unselfish player, but he also seizes the moment when he needs to. So I think he's just got this calmness to him. And then he played the VFL game for Brisbane and played very well for the VFL team. I'm like, okay, this kid's impressing me now against men as well. I got my act together there and bumped him to where he belongs, which is in the top 3. So
nice.
Those 3 there for me are pretty sure things. Pretty sure things. Now the next kid, people still have him 1, 2, 3. No one's dropped him further than this, and I didn't have the guts to. Finn O'Sullivan, number 4.
Okay. Yeah.
This kid this year has had injuries. He's had a fractured thumb. He's recovered from it. But when he has played, he's been more like a forward mid hybrid, which isn't a bad thing. So was a Sheasel, for example.
Yeah.
But there's something about his lack of production that's worrying me a little bit. Now, in saying that, he's incredibly talented. My comp for him has been Sam Walsh. I think he's got some distant relation with him anyway.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
But it's more so the way sort of a Sam Walsh, his body size. Like he's got long arms, longer legs, and he would just sort of sidestep people when the pressure's coming to him. He can fight through it, but he prefer to go around them and use his speed and his endurance on the outside. He's got a bit of that. Excellent hands, like ridiculously good marking overhead for his size. He's only like 182.
I was going to say that's the thing that Walshy doesn't have. He's not that we've seen it anyway, but that's what O'Sullivan I've seen in interviews that he's talked about it. Yeah, my marking's a bit of a strength, and that's a big point of difference.
Yeah,
So,
and he's an excellent player. The thing is though, last year in his underage year, he was averaging about 23, 24 disposals, and he was one of the best on his Oakley team and for Vic Metro, mind you, as an underage player. So everyone's like, this kid's a shoo-in for number one. He was mocked number one all off season. And the more the year's gone on, there's the believers who think it's just 1 year of injury form. He's still my number one. There's others that are saying, you know what, like the output, and I'm in this camp, the output of the other kids, I think fairly moves him down a bit because he hasn't produced this year.
Yeah.
But he has played for Richmond's VFL. He'll get low touches but score some amazing goals, and you're thinking he might make the teams that pass on him, if Richmond doesn't pick him one, he might make them pay for it.
Yeah.
But he also might not be that guy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because you got to go with what, you got to go with the evidence that's, in front of you. Yeah. And if you haven't done it, like recency bias is a thing as well, of course,
Correct.
And then another thing, like progression isn't linear. You know, you can't expect to, like, even though he had 23 disposals a game as an underager, that doesn't mean he's going to go up straight away the next year. That doesn't mean it's going to be a natural progression. It's
100%. And in a draft like this that's very competitive, I still do have him fourth. So that should say a lot about how much I do like him.
Yeah.
But just to give you an example, right? So today he actually played, and Oakley unfortunately lost because I was hoping to see him and Jagger one more time. But he had 20 touches and 2 goals with 8 marks and 5 tackles. That's a great game.
Yeah.
All right. His other games, he's only played 3 other games all year. Last week, 16 touches, no goals.
Yeah.
Then he played in round 19s. He had 18 touches and 3 goals. Great game. And then his first game of the year, when he did have that injury, was 15 touches.
Yeah.
He's only played those 4 games and a couple others in the championships. I think he just rushed himself to play. Didn't have an impact. So I just think like he hasn't played that much. He's shown his skill. He only can score goals, but I can't mock him one.
Yeah, I guess there's less of a sample size to give you that, that reason to put him at number one.
I can't put him ahead of Jagger and Levi, and I just really like Murphy Reid the best. He's not moving from one. So
that's fair enough.
He goes 4. That's how it goes.
Fair.
Number 5, this is my first, and non-Victorians will be saying, where's the non-Victorians? You biased Melburnian. and you're probably right.
Yeah, facts.
But also, we're just better at footy. Number 5 is Sid Draper. Okay.
Nice.
Sid Draper has been playing Sandful. He's played the most senior footy out of anyone of these top prospects this year. So that is a big tick in my eyes, similar to Horn Francis doing the same. Not as much impact as Horn Francis, so let's get that clear.
Yeah.
Not hitting the scoreboard anywhere near as much, for example, but he's shown his ability to get the ball. And the best thing about him is his toughness and his explosiveness out of the pack. So I think if you're able to show those skills at Sandful level at this age, I think that bodes pretty well for your ability to be an explosive, powerful, impactful midfielder at the next level.
That's fair.
My shades of... I struggled a bit with him. I've sort of gone for like a Sarong type.
Okay.
Maybe even lately like a Jai Newcomb, dare I say.
Yeah.
Mate. I think he's got more explosiveness out of the pack though.
Really?
Than a Jai.
Okay. Well, that's a compliment. Big compliment.
The only reason and you would think like if he's playing against men producing, like why isn't he higher? And some people again have him 1. I think the ESPN rankings have him 1 right now.
Oh wow.
Why I don't think his disposal's up to scratch like the others is.
Fair enough.
So he's running, he's looking to handball, his kicks aren't blowing me away. But what a player though. He's still going to be a very powerful unit. Couldn't see a team like North picking him though, for example. Like a team that's already got some young mids. I can see them going a Callahan, I can see them going even a Jagger Smith or a Murphy Reid because they offer that skill inside outside. I think this kid's more like an inside short but gets in there and just explodes out type of player.
Fair enough. Who's Callahan? Did you say Callahan?
Sorry, O'Sullivan.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, and I was like, yeah.
Sorry.
I'm trying. Like, is my draft knowledge that bad?
No.
That I'm forgetting someone.
No,
sorry, man.
My
sorry.
like an O'Sullivan. So, No, I really like Sid though, and there were some moments in the championships for SA. I think he was their best last year as an underager, and this year. So he's got that leadership, the toughness that you want from a mid, and the explosiveness. I just question the disposal a little bit, but I could be wrong. Again, I would say any of these top 5 are worthy ones.
Which
is pretty crazy.
Yeah, credit to this draft. Man.
Credit to the draft. Now, number 6, my first key position player.
Okay,
all right,
here we go.
Harry Armstrong.
Ooh,
now
that feels high to what I've seen. So that's interesting. Yeah,
this is probably my first big riser. Although even Kaltumi sort of mentioned him as a top 5 fancy, so I think he's pushing mainly because of his output. My comp and sort of shades of for him is Nick Larkey / Aaron Cadman. Right?
Interesting.
Yes. Why would I do that? You ask. For me, he's got the long arms that a Cadman and Larkey have. But he's that low disposal, lethal finishing of the Larkey. Okay. Whereas Cadman, I think at his prime, he's going to be more of a higher disposal forward.
Yeah, because he moves up the ground
more. I don't think Armstrong does that. He's got his body, though. He's got the left foot, the long arms.
Yeah.
So that's why I say sort of shades of Cadman.
Fair enough, yeah.
But in terms of an actual realistic output, I think a Nick Larkey sort of, but in saying that, he jumps at packs more than Larkey does.
See, that's where I was going to ask you, because like Nick Larkey is not he's not a guy making pack marks and making
that's
impact
the difference.
like that. That's
right. So
yeah,
lethal kick for goal, long kick for goal. Evidence is there. He's had multiple games of 4 goals, 5 goals, and low touches, including at the championships when all was on the line. Kicked 4 goals in that game that they won. So his ability to jump at packs, but he's still pretty raw as well, but not stick figure, skinny, raw.
Yeah.
So I think I just think he's really good. I think key forwards, assuming you pick them at the right time in the draft, can be gold, especially like you think of a Cadman went 1. I think this kid's pretty similarly talented. Similar underage year. Similar draft year. And he's going 6 in my eyes. I could easily put him 10th and just say I don't rate him, but I really like him. I think he's going to be... for example, Matsa, you're a North fan. If North was to just say, you know what? Pick 2. Go get him.
Yeah.
I think it's justified. It's risky because there's some good mids you're passing on.
That's the thing, yeah.
But I'll say this as a North fan. We could use more mids. I know people say we have mids. We need class, man.
That's the thing. Like, Tom Powell's cool, but like he's not the most explosive. He can use it okay sometimes when he's open. Yeah. Will Phillips, is he going to be a tagger or is he going to be a full-on baller? I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like, we could use the class of a Reed, of a Jagger Smith and co at the top of the draft here, but we could also use a key forward. And if we say, you know what, we see the potential in this kid, he's special, I would back it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Even at 2. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, but I like the kid and I think he's really good. But it is a bit of a risky one, just given it's a key forward.
Yeah, fair enough.
Simple as that. Number 7, this is where I've got Josh Smiley.
Okay.
A lot of people had this guy 1 for a long time, and why wouldn't you? 194 centimeters.
He was the hyped guy very early. Yeah.
Yep. Now, why have I cooled on him slightly? I kind of feel silly for having him at 7, but I don't know. My thing with him is he's 194 centimeters. I don't see him using that like you would expect at this age. And what do I mean by that? I don't see him bullying and getting too many contested marks against shorter players. I don't see him shrugging off smaller mids in the contest as often as I'd like. But he's got a good kick on him. Now, this is the funny thing. You'd expect someone of that size at that age to just be a bully, and maybe his outside game's a question mark. I actually think he's better on the outside than he's on the inside. Yeah. And that's, for me, a bit confusing, because what's going to happen at the AFL level when him being 194 centimeters is cool and all, but not necessarily needed to succeed as a midfielder.
Yeah.
So it's easy to sort of say, shades of Bont, but I don't think he's like the Bont. I don't think he's like that.
Shades of Finn Callahan, maybe.
I actually had an interesting one, and I want to be clear here. I'm not talking current version of this player. I'm talking like prime shades of, not him, prime shades of a Mitch Duncan.
Okay.
Who is more of an outside. He's a bit taller.
Yeah.
You wouldn't consider him like a full-time mid.
Yeah.
Can mark the ball above his head, but not necessarily like a pack mark. I was reaching a bit for this one.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say Tom Green though, or Cripps, like as the taller mid, because he doesn't play like that brute like they are.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is his opportunity to play like
That's what I'm saying.
Because he's big, but yeah.
But I really like him. And again, like I always use the thing, if North picked him at 2, how would I feel? I'd be excited.
Yeah.
He's not a bad player.
Yeah.
He's not a bad player. He could go 1 for all I know. I just think like those other guys, I look at him like, yeah, that makes sense. Jagger makes sense. Levi makes sense. Smiley doesn't really play like I expect when I watch him, but he still does some awesome stuff.
So like tall Mitch Duncan. That's a pretty nice player, man.
It's a great player.
Yeah.
But he didn't have a great championships either, and that sort of made me think like, why not? Why didn't you take the game over a bit?
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, so that's why I slipped a bit, but I still do rate him really highly. The next one, actually, you mentioned Finn Callaghan. That's actually, funnily enough, my comp for this next guy, which is Harvey Langford at number 8.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He's getting a little bit of buzz.
Getting lots of buzz. Cal's had him in the top 3.
Wow. Yeah.
Which I think is just because he actually does do more of that, your 190 centimetre midfielder. He goes forward, he takes a pack mark. And he's got that leadership that I don't think a Smiley has. Now, maybe I should flip the 2. I have flirted with that idea. But I think he's had a bit of a knock on him about his pace out of the contest.
Okay.
He's a great kick, but he doesn't have that real explosion. So maybe the Finn Callaghan comp is a bit of a funny one because Finn does have a bit more of that pace. It's kind of like, this might sound weird, but like a Matt Crouch, Finn Callaghan hybrid.
Okay.
Does that make any sense? I don't know.
No, I know what you mean, because Matt Crouch doesn't have that explosion that you want, but he's so classy that he makes it work.
Yeah. But again, a great player. On where he ranks on the, if North picked him at 2, how would I feel? I'd be a bit confused. But in saying that, we don't have a 190 centimetre mid. So maybe, there's my maybe in the future. But I don't think he's in that top 3. I think Cal's reaching a bit there. Yeah. But he might know more about his character than I do. This is the thing.
That's the thing, because Cal is like probably mates with all these guys.
Yeah. Cal might have inside word like, this guy doesn't leave the gym. I don't know that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that is true. I guess you're going based off what you see on the field.
Correct.
He has the whole picture, you know. Yeah.
And he's a great, again, excellent player. Like I would say in most drafts, he's probably a lock for 3 to 5.
Yeah.
And he still might be in this draft, but I sort of like the other guys a bit better, so I pushed him out.
Cool.
Next one, number 9, I've got Toby Travaglia.
Yeah.
I had this guy for a while, like 3rd or 5th or like around there.
Yeah.
I was going a bit crazy.
Yeah.
I just like those players, and I've got his comp to Will Day a little bit. I even had like a Nick Blakey thing happening for a while. They're not as tall. Not as tall. So you probably get where I'm going with this. Like I like those players that are just, when the ball's around, it's like running through a brick wall to go get it. Like don't care who's in my way. I'm getting this thing. It's not going to be pretty. It's mine. He's that kind of guy. Tough as well. He's played multiple positions. Defense. I like him off halfback.
Yeah.
Played a bit on ball, played a bit forward, kicked a few goals. But I think he'll find a home next year for some team off halfback as that sort of interceptor, but occasionally goes a bit mad, going on a run. Whether that'll work out long term, I think it will.
You know, it kind of reminds me of like the way you talk about him. It's a bit like Josh Weddle.
Yeah.
Is the way you talk about him.
Yeah, you know what? And no one thought Weddle would be the player he is. In his draft year. He was considered more of a key back, just stick to your job. Yeah. But he's just gone off his man and gone crazy now. So you're quite right. Funnily enough, I think if Hawthorn, they're not going to keep their pick, but if they were staying at, where are they, like 13, he's probably the guy at 13 for them, to be honest with you. He seems like a Hawthorn kind of guy.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
So that might give the viewers and listeners an insight as to his play style potentially. He's that chaotic, tough, versatile player.
Cool.
And I really like that. I think rounding out the top 10 with him at 9 is, he doesn't have the class of these other players. That's why he's being pushed out. But he's got that intensity that I like as well.
Yeah, fair enough.
Now, number 10 is 100% my biggest bolter of the entire draft.
Okay, here we go.
Before I'm setting it up, I'm building it up. I don't understand why this guy's not getting first round shout-outs. Like, a given that he's a first round pick. Cale Jerome from Perth.
Yeah,
or Western Australia, I should say, sorry.
Yeah, you've told me about this one.
Man, there's something about this guy when you watch him play, and I know he's been playing Waffle Colts, which for those that don't know, is probably the weakest of the under-18s competitions. But he did play one senior game in the Waffle and played forward. Now, this guy is forward ruck, more of a ruck, but he's just got this incredible athleticism and low center of gravity for a ruckman. To the extent that he's getting involved in handball chains, he's running with the ball, taking a bounce. He's just not a conventional ruck, and he leaps at the ball like you'd expect from a key forward. I've got his comp, and this is a wild one, right?
Yeah.
I've got Ruck Tex.
Ruck Tex?
People are going to think like, what the hell is Dean smoking, man? But this is the kind of stuff I come up with, man.
Ruck Tex?
You're not going to get draft analysis like this.
That's
but
crazy.
what I mean by that is like Tex is a key forward. He's a big dude, but he does have a low center of gravity, which is why he's been a great player.
Yeah, he's very skillful.
Very skillful. He'll hold the ball in one hand.
Yeah.
He'll wait for the defender to draw. He'll handball it over or around. Kale does this every week.
Yeah.
But he's just a ruck version of it. He's taller.
Yeah.
Right?
I think the interesting part of this is that, so you're watching this and you're seeing this. Now it's just like, how quickly will this translate to the big stage? You know what I mean?
He'll definitely be a forward first because, I mean, no rookie ruckman just comes in and plays ruck.
Yeah.
So he'll be a forward. But again, I'm just going to think about it with a North lens. If North drafts him, there's no way he doesn't replace Bryn Teakle, for example.
Okay, yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Like, say we recruited Jack Darling to replace Pink. This would be someone to replace Teakle instantly. You're not losing anything. You're gaining all this skill. And that's the number one thing I'll just really bang on about. His skill for his size and his speed for his size is ridiculous. I don't know why he's not getting... And my basis for this judgment, by the way, is big shout out to Footy Stuff on YouTube. The GOAT page of AFL highlights for the draft prospects.
Yeah, 100%.
This guy's a grinder, man. Massive respect. And he uploads the Kale vids, and that's a sign in itself. Because he doesn't... He's a busy man. He doesn't waste time on prospects that don't deserve it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So, no, he's my dude, man. I'm tempted to like swap him with Armstrong by the end of it. Like, as my first... Maybe not to 6, but like as my first key taken in my eyes.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
He won't be. He's probably going to be... If he rises, maybe 15 at best, but I'm not even seeing that. I'm seeing like later.
Yeah, like second round prospect type vibes.
Which I would love him to slip to North second round pick. Like if that happened, man, I'm praying for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very curious to see how it goes because you've gone out on a limb because no one, like, I haven't heard anything from anyone else.
That's what I do, man. That's what I do.
That's it. It's good. That's good, man.
I just listen to my eyes. That's it. I know that sounds a bit weird. I listen to my eyes more than anything and my heart.
That's cool. I like that, man. I like that.
You like it. You're going to like this next one too, potentially. No, not really. Number 11, I've got Leo Lombard. So this is a
Gold Coast
Academy pick.
Yeah.
The easy comp, and I mean, he said it himself, is Touk Miller. He looks up to Touk, plays like Touk. He's that outside power and speed. I think he's a bit shorter.
Okay, yeah.
Not as muscular, obviously. He's younger. But he's been playing VFL with Gold Coast. I think last year he was involved in their premiership.
Oh, wow. So he's,
and this year as well. So I think he's finished school, like he's been just focusing on footy for a while now. He might be, if it wasn't for the Suns' stacked midfield, he'd be coming in straight away and, for example, in comparison, be playing better than Rogers as a baseline.
Yeah, well, that's...
Jake Rogers.
Who's not a bad player himself.
Not a bad player. He's a good player. But I think Lombard's better, and if their midfield wasn't stacked, he'd be playing on ball next year. Say there was an injury, he'd be in. And I mean, that kind of player is exciting. He's fast, skillful. He's small, and you just wonder, like, is he going to be just like a low possession impact player, or is he actually going to be like an accumulator? Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. But that's why he slipped a bit. And quite honestly, there is a bit of bias in it. Like, I haven't watched as much of him because I know he's taken.
Yeah, that's fair.
And he will slip, and teams won't want to bid on him because of that as well.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's like you just sort of fall in love with what you can get, not what you can't get sometimes in the draft.
That's fair.
Great player, though. Number 12, people have this guy as like a smoky for, I'm not going to say number 1, but 3, 5, is Sam Lawler.
Yes, yeah, I've seen that name.
He's a midfielder. He's a strong unit. I've got him comped to like it's going to sound, again, a half and half Cunnington, but like half-ish sort of like the forward impact of like a Jamie Elliott, De Goey, like he can actually jump and take a mark.
Okay.
Now you might say like that sounds like an unstoppable force.
It does,
and like
man.
quite honestly, like when he's at his best, he kind of is. The problem is he's been injured. He hasn't been at his best every game.
Yeah.
He's more been a moments player, not a this guy's getting me 20 to 30 touches every week kind of player. So that's why I've dropped him out of the 10. In saying that, he could go 5, I reckon. And that's all the talk, just on the potential alone. Like 1-2 full preseasons into him focusing on footy. Again, you don't know his mentality, but there's every possibility he's one of the better players in the future. He's probably a potential pick more than a guaranteed pick.
Thing, yeah.
A sure thing.
Fair enough.
And usually I like those guys a lot, but it's a stacked draft, and he just had to drop out a little bit.
Yeah, you might as well take the sure thing with that many
Yeah.
decent mids,
Correct.
especially.
Like teams like, I'm just thinking who's going to have picks around here. Like a Melbourne or, teams like that might want that powerful mid to replace Petrarca or Clary. But they might be the ones to take a risk on someone like that.
That's fair.
13, I've got another WA guy. He's Bo Allen.
Yep.
Look, at a certain point, I needed to get rid of my bias and throw in these interstate guys because, quite frankly, this guy is WA's best prospect, aside from Cale Gerine, in my eyes.
That's cool. Yeah.
But he's their best mid. I think he's 191 centimeters. Powerful guy. He's got that leadership thing about him, like a Drapo, captain of the WA team. I've got his shades of to Dunkley. I don't think he's the smoothest disposal, but I think he's just tough, and he can take a grab, and he's just going to be a good team player.
Yeah, that'd be a good player if he at his best, if he can reach that, that's a good player right there.
Exactly right. And I don't know. I think West Coast. I mean, they won't get him with their first pick, but if they can find a way to get another first round pick in that mid, like after 10 to 15, they probably would want to target him and get him in.
100%. Yeah.
Freo are probably getting rid of all their picks to Richmond, so they're probably out of the equation.
Yeah, true.
So he's a good player. I think he's just solid, good midfielder. I don't think he's take over the game. Sort of you're carrying your team to a flag, but he might be like that crucial second or third cog in your midfield. That's just ultra consistent. Cool. So nice player there.
You need those ones.
Not to put you on the spot, but is there anyone I'm omitting, Matsa, that you've seen high up on draft boards? I've got someone in mind. There's a certain fella by the name of Luke Traynor.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that guy.
Right? Now, he's not even next.
Are you sure he's not mocked to number 2 at North?
He's not next. And I just wanted to bring this up. And this is part why I wanted to do this video.
Yeah.
And it's no disrespect to all these guys with their other channels on YouTube and whatnot, but stop mocking Luke Traynor to North at 2. I get it. He's got family ties or something to North Melbourne. I get he said on Gettable that he likes North Melbourne. That doesn't mean North's going to spend the number 2 pick on this kid. If he does, mate, you can retweet me. Not that I'm on Twitter. You can come at me in any way online you want.
Yeah. I
will admit I'm wrong. But there, in my eyes, is like a 99.9% chance he's no way going to North at 2.
Yeah. So is he pick 15 or 14?
He's not yet. I just wanted to get this off my chest.
Oh, all right.
I'm just saying simply, stop mocking him to North at 2.
Okay.
If you're doing a realistic mock draft with North splitting the picks, go ahead.
Yeah.
But stop it with him in the top 5. He's not a top 5 pick. In my eyes, he's not even a top 10 or 15 pick because he's not next.
Yeah. So what's the next pick?
So next is 14. I've got Isaac Kako.
Yep.
Unfortunately going to Essendon due to the academy rules changing once again. I've got Brian Myers for him. He's small. He's explosive. He can get the ball. He moves up the ground. Good disposal. More of an assist kind of guy, but he can kick crucial goals. There's probably no better comp in the league than him.
Than Lionel Messi
himself. But no, exciting player. And I think he's gone off people's radar lately because he's been injured and kind of got injured around the Essendon Academy confirmation.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, already, fine, I'm not watching him anymore.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
And he got injured, so he's out of sight, out of mind right now, but he's a very good player.
Yep.
Definitely top 15 pick for me.
Cool.
15, I've got Job Shanahan.
Yeah.
Now, he played VFL for Essendon for a few games and kicked goals in every game, couple goals.
That's impressive.
But you're probably thinking, why isn't he then higher than Armstrong, for example? I just think Armstrong isn't as developed as him physically, and that's leading itself to, more production right now for Shanahan.
Yeah.
But I just like Armstrong a lot better as a future prospect. I think he's got longer arms, a better jump,
yeah,
and a more accurate kick. And I just think long term he'll be lethal. But Job is a fundamentally good forward, like a Van Rooyen or a Georgiades kind of player. Can jump at it, creates a contest, can kick some goals. Solid, like a B+ sort of forward for years to come.
Yeah, so Van Rooyen and Georgiades as a...
Something like that, as a shades off.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Cool.
Like him a lot, though. Like him a lot. Next, I've got number 16. A little bit higher than most, but I think I would have been prouder of this ranking a few weeks ago, but everyone's caught on and moved him up.
Yeah.
Cooper Hines.
Okay.
I've had this guy for a while. For me, he's closest shades of would probably be like a Will Hayward.
Ooh.
Taller, but plays like that energetic forward, like a medium forward that actually can crumb and punish you at ground level. To the point where today in the he plays for Dandenong, he was playing on ball.
Oh, okay.
Right, so he can...
He's got a bit of class in that regard, a little bit of grunt work as well.
Powerful, 190 centimetres, I think. But when he's forward, he kicks goals. When he's in the middle, he gets the ball.
Yeah.
So I think he's just this guy that sees the ball, goes and gets it. He's powerful. He can mark it, kick goals. So yeah, I've got him at 16. I think he's a pretty sure thing to be an impact player at a club for many years to come.
Cool.
Number 17, he's the big riser, and he might keep rising based on athletic testing. He's the big Viking, as Cal calls him. He's Alexander Tairu.
Alexander Tairu.
All right.
Yeah. The Flying Viking.
The Flying Viking, that's the one.
Yeah.
And the reason he's got that name is quite obvious. Is that
he looks like a Viking.
He looks like a Viking.
He's got like the blonde sort of ball cut looking thing.
And he's tough and he just flies at the ball.
Yeah.
Not the most refined player. And you're probably thinking, how are you putting him above Trainer, for example? Because they're both
actually that's true.
Yeah. They're both intercept defenders. The big difference for me is this kid is just nuts when it comes to aggression.
Yeah.
And I rate that as an intercept player. Simple as. I've got here shades of, and you're going to love this one, taller Jackson Archer. So Jacko's already getting shades of. That's how much we rate him on the pod.
Yeah, that's true. We are big Jackson Archer enjoyers.
But I think Jackson is more your traditional medium. Like he'll play small, he'll play medium, not quite the talls. I think Tairu's more equipped to play the talls and the mediums.
Yeah. I think, look, real enjoyers of AFL know Jackson Archer.
Baller.
He's a baller. He's a baller. And look, a taller version of that, someone who can be almost a little bit more like a key, that's pretty, that'd be dangerous, man.
And the interesting thing about Tairu is that he's gone forward and had an impact.
Okay.
And a few weeks ago, where we had those couple of weeks here in Melbourne where the weather was windy in the games, he was playing defence when the wind was going towards his defence.
Yeah.
And then when the wind was going the other way, they put him forward to utilise his aerial prowess. And he was having an impact. He'd get intercepts and he'd score goals.
That shows like respect that the team has for him and realising what they got on their hands.
And he's raw. Yeah. So he could easily become maybe the best key position player in the draft when it's all said and done. But he's too raw to say right now, in my eyes, he's a top 10 pick.
So is that why you can't go ahead and just be like, you know what, like Tom Stewart vibes? Is that why you can't go to
Stewart's
that?
clean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a one grab, it's mine, then dispose of it at an elite level.
Yeah.
Tairu's more like, I don't know if I'm going to mark it every time, but I'm going to get to that ball first.
Yeah.
And then when it hits the ground, I'm after it. Like he's not clean yet.
Yeah.
But he might be. And he will deservedly go in the top, the first round for sure. Now we've finally got Luke Trainer. And I want to say, like, I've got nothing against the kid.
So he's number 17 in the end? Is that what it is?
18.
18.
There's nothing against him whatsoever.
Yeah.
I just don't see it like other people do as a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
He's an intercept player. He does sometimes go forward, but not as he won't play forward.
Yeah.
And when people are saying like he's like a Ridley, like Ridley's a fine player, but I'm not looking at Ridley like some barometer to success for an AFL team. To be honest with you, I think he's a very good player, but he's he's not crucial to a team's success. Like having a player like him.
Look, you got to say Ridley plays for Essendon, so it makes it a little bit hard.
He's yuck. Yeah. But I think the hype train got on Trainer very early because he had two and one especially good game for the AFL Academy.
Yep. Which
is respect for that. Well done. But I think just people got carried away with saying he's the best key player in the draft way too early. And I just don't see it. I think he's very good though. He's in the first round.
Yeah.
I'm not being disrespectful here, but stop mocking him at 2.
Are we shadesing him?
Oh, yeah, shades of Ridley. Yeah, shades of Ridley.
Yeah, okay.
Which would be a great outcome for him.
Yeah.
But players like that take a bit of time to develop because he's so skinny. Like, again, I look at North as a comparison. Look at the stats of Josh Goda's draft year and Trainer's. It's not that different. Trainer's a bit bigger.
Yeah. And that's the part of the draft that Goda was mocked to.
Correct.
Like he was a late first round type guy. And,
and he moved a bit higher up the ground, got games of over 20 touches.
Yeah.
Similar vibes.
Okay.
And I love Goda.
Yeah.
Hope he's got a future at North, but I'm not picking that guy in the top 10.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
That's fair. I'm gonna put that when I do the editing. I'll put Goda in there as well. As a shades of,
why not? So 19 to round out 2 more picks in our top 20. I've got Joe Berry.
Joe Berry, okay.
He's more your small forward, a little bit of mid, but probably more of a small forward. I've got Dylan Moore vibes. So at his best case scenario, he'll be getting more of the ball and being more of a playmaker for the team as well.
Yeah.
But I think to start with, he's more that crumbing forward, explosive power. And he's not as small as other small forwards. He's 180 centimeters, so he's not like small. He's got a bit of physicality to him to grow into, I think. And then number 20 to round things off, I think I'm pronouncing this correctly, is Jack O. Our mate Jacko.
Okay.
Right? He's a 194 centimeter midfielder. I've got Connor Nash, but smoother. Because we know Connor Nash, he's a bit rough around the edges.
Yeah, he's Irish after all.
He's an Irishman, right? But he's...
You doing accents? I don't expect it.
But no, Jacko, he's just quietly gone from more of an outside player to inside.
Yeah.
Kicked a crucial goal to win the game today.
Okay.
In the prelim. And I just think at that size, getting the ball, he gets rebound 50s and inside 50s. So he's being a traditional wingman at times. And why I say he's a smoother Nash is because, Nash is see ball, get ball, tackle, just rough.
Yeah.
I think he's not as physical as that, but he makes up for it in other areas, like his class and his... I think he's got more of an engine to be like a more traditional midfielder.
Yeah.
So, and at 194 centimeters, it's a nice little risk at the end of the first round, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think he's got that high-end talent or skill, but you never know.
Yeah, no, of course. Well, that's the thing. When you got the physical, makeup, sometimes, you might just, over, you might exceed, expectations.
Yeah.
But yeah. I reckon quickly run through maybe, 4 or 5 honourable mentions that just
100%.
just snuck out.
Well, there's 2 very notable ones, which is the Whitlock brothers.
Yeah, true.
2 key position players. Both ended up playing forward in the second half of the year. Matt was usually a defender. They're very tall. Both 198 also centimeters.
Yeah. Speaking of physical makeup, there you go. There's some big boys there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something about them is a bit too stiff for me. Like, those, how we say like the King brothers as an easy comp.
Yeah.
Both of the King brothers have this agility to them.
Yeah.
That I don't think these 2 brothers have.
Okay.
But they're tall and they're impacting games already.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be fine. I think if you're getting them in the second round, you're laughing, to be honest. They'll probably go higher.
Shows probably like how good this draft is if those type of guys are going in the second round. Those type of physical specimens.
Exactly right. Another honourable mention, he kicked 5 goals today, is Jonty Fall, another key position player. So I think if you're needing a key position player, you're probably waiting to see who's there at your second round pick, like a North Melbourne, for example. You wouldn't reach for one at 2. And there's another guy who unfortunately did his ACL at the start of the year, but his first game or 2, I believe he played, Taj Hodden.
Yeah.
His highlights popped up just to remind me. This kid was like Connor Rossi-esque height and speed.
Yeah.
But he unfortunately did his ACL, so I can't put him in my top 20.
Fair enough.
It's similar to Braden George going to North in round 2.
Yeah. A lot of North talk in this.
Yeah,
but look, this is what's relevant to us.
It's the basis of my comparisons. So,
that's fair.
Look, if a team picks him in the first round, I'll be surprised. But as soon as the second round starts, that's like you're nabbing him for his potential. Because he was mocked to go like top 10 or 5.
Is he Vic Boy?
Vic Boy, Sandringham.
Okay.
Sandringham's stacked, bro. They're a great team.
Sounds it, yeah.
So yeah, there's a few others. I mean, I'm not going to talk about every single one of them, but
go one or 2 more.
I'll go 1 or 2 more. Christian Moraes has not been playing as much footy in the second half of the year, but he's kind of like a Josh Dacos-esque sort of player.
Okay. Yeah.
In my eyes. And then you've got Xavier Lindsay's probably a bit stiff to not be in the top 20. He's I think he was the captain of Gippsland Power.
Okay.
Played very well at the championships of Vic Country. He's a left footer, very good disposal, but I just don't think he's got enough pace on him to be a proper midfielder. He's maybe more like an outside distributor sort of midfielder.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
Who would that be? Maybe his pace isn't like these guys, but like a Sinclair or a Houston or a Laird. At best.
Those are great
but
players.
he doesn't have their pace.
Yeah, okay. Well, that doesn't
excellent disposal. He'll probably go top 20.
Yeah.
I might be wrong on that one, but
fair cool.
It's a stacked draft.
Yeah.
I think every team's going to come out of it like very confident. They've got contributors in year 1.
Yeah,
to be honest with you,
that's mate, exciting times, man, for the draft. Exciting for teams that aren't in the finals. We have something to look forward to.
Oh, this is, you can see as a North fan, I've mainly be concentrating on this.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Than the actual season, because that's what it's about, man. We hope that some of these players, just as every team would, that they're the ones lifting the trophy at some point.
Yeah, true.
So
we can dream.
We can dream, man. Yeah. Hey, it can change quickly.
That is true. We'll look at Hawthorn.
Cal Shadir.
Yeah, exactly.
Sandy Dragons wasn't their best forward.
Is Jurine, is he going to be the Cal Shadir of the draft? Man?
Who's that player for Richmond? I forget his Lafau,
yeah.
He's kind of like him, but just huge.
That's, yeah.
You know, he just jumps at the ball. You're like, that's pretty simple. He saw the ball and he jumped at it, and he's athletic enough to go get it.
Yeah.
He's like that, but a ruck version.
That's pretty cool, man, to be honest with you. Anyway. Mate, you killed it there, Deano. That's some like preparation and hard work to get that stuff.
It's taken a while to get there.
No, it's good, man.
We do want to do some more vids. Give us some feedback. Obviously, this was like the big Dean's vent session.
Yeah.
We'll probably do like forwards, mids, defenders.
Yep.
Tie in some rucks in there somehow. We'll see how the combine goes. Maybe I'll do a mock like in the last week, because I don't like doing mocks from now. I don't know where the picks are going to be. Like, I don't have the mental energy and time.
Yeah, mocks are hard because you just don't know what clubs are thinking, like what trades. We'll
try to do that the week of the draft. Maybe we'll release that. But in the meantime, we'll get a bit more detailed about the rankings. Maybe after the combine as well. But only if you guys like it. So let us know.
Yeah, true. Sure. Well, anyway, thank you guys for listening. And like if actually, I might as well shout out the main pod. Main pod, a weekly pod. We're talking about the games. We'll talk about other random stuff. We talk a bit of shit between us boys, so we have a lot of fun. We'll see you guys on the next episode, I guess.
See you next week. Murphy Reed, number 1, baby.
Catches.